Hello, welcome to FHE on the Road with Christine Stevenson. This podcast is designed to connect the people and the places from the past with your lives today, with 5-minute stories and facts from church history. Save these stories for when you are traveling through these areas to bring history to life. Okay, today we're going to talk about the foundation of the St. George, Utah Temple. Brigham Young announced the spot of the St. George Temple as he was directed by Heavenly Father, and after announcing where the temple location would be, the problems with the location began. Of course, you don't really know until you start getting into it. Turns out the land that was selected was not the easiest to work with, and the land ended up having a lot of difficulties. What did Brigham Young know about the troubles that the land would have? Nobody knows for sure what Brigham Young knew exactly when he announced the temple. What is known is with the help of Heavenly Father, Brigham Young was able to guide the saints to solve the ground problems and build the beautiful St. George Pioneer Temple. The saints were so excited to have their temple in their town, they started working on the temple the same day it was announced. So we talked a little bit about in the facts about the St. George Temple. As the saints started digging the foundation, they found marshy lands and eventually an underground river, which would be terrible. As they started digging the temple basement, that's when they discovered that. Some of the saints wanted to scrap it and change locations right away. They wanted the site to be moved somewhere else when they found the water problems, which would make sense. And you think St. George was just open land. No one had built anything there. So it was like, we have the pick. Can we just move it somewhere else? But Brigham Young did not want the temple site moved. Or I should say, Heavenly Father directed Brigham Young to not move the temple site. Brigham Young informed the saints that he was inspired to have the temple in that location by Heavenly Father, and the location would not be changed. The saints responded with great faith and kept building the temple. So they followed the prophet. They didn't just abandon ship, which would have been hard because, again, you picture St. George with no one around and everything's empty. And it's like, no, this land that is really difficult to work with. This is where we're going to be building it. So yes, they kept going. It took a lot of work to solve the water problems and get the land ready to build the temple. Finding an underground river under a plot would be a problem even with our advanced technologies today. But back in the 1800s, it normally would have meant, again, to abandon ship. But not when it came to the pioneers when they were directed by a prophet of God. I love the stalwartness of those pioneers. They're so inspiring. They knew that God would help them through their trials and through this problem, especially for a house of the Lord. And so they kept going. When the water was found under the temple plot, Brigham Young told the saints exactly what needed to be done to solve the water problems. How in the world could Brigham Young have known how to solve an underground river situation for building the temple? Through the inspiration of Heavenly Father, the pioneers built the St. George Temple foundation to last. It's pretty amazing what they were able to do with the little engineering experience that they had. Brigham Young told the saints to dig trenches deep into the ground, and imagine doing this without machinery. So all by hand, they had to dig big trenches, long, deep trenches into the ground. Then they would dump volcanic rock into the trenches. When the volcanic rock was filled, then they took a big cannon and smashed the rock to the ground. Why did they use the cannon to smash the rocks? The cannon was the heaviest thing they had in the area at the time. And the cannon was pulleyed up high with a pulley system and then dropped on the volcanic rock to smash the rock down. The builders were instructed on how much volcanic rock needed to go into each of the trenches and how often they had to drop the cannon. When the cannon bounced, the workers knew it was done and they could move to the next spot. Isn't that so cool? Like, how would they know? But obviously, it's through inspiration. Heavenly Father helped them know exactly what needed to be done to build the St. George Temple to last. The volcanic rock helped the underground river stabilize and made the temple durable for over 100 years. It's pretty amazing that Brigham Young was able to solve such a complex foundational problem, and it is a witness of God's help. Looking at the city of St. George now, you can see how inspired the temple plot was. The land chosen is the perfect place, right in the middle of the growing town of St. George. The red rocks behind it and the temple make it stand out. The willingness to build the temple in difficult places like St. George with swampy, muddy land can inspire us all. The St. George Temple teaches us about the perseverance of the pioneer saints. The sacrifices of the saints truly laid a foundation for future members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So it's pretty awesome what they did. And so while you're looking around the St. George Temple, recognize the effort and the time that went into it and the inspiration from our Heavenly Father. Thank you for listening to FHE on the road today. We hope you enjoyed what you've heard. Please like, subscribe, and share with anyone who'd be interested in these stories. Thanks.